Happy Easter, everyone. I hope that you've had a good Easter morning so far. I was thinking about how if we were at church, there would be all kinds of activity happening. Kids might be running around on that sugar high, and parents exhausted by their children's sugar high. And people would be going up to one another and greeting one another, and there would be hugs and laughter and chatting with one another. And Henry would be playing and trying to get everybody to settle down a little bit. That would be a normal Sunday morning, a normal Easter morning. But this morning's just a little bit different. And even though you may be going on later in your day and there might be some things that you're able to do, we, of course, here at our place have been thinking about how lucky we are that we're kind of stuck with each other here in our home. Things are going very well, actually. But we are recognizing that there are people who are alone in this, and this must be a very difficult Easter Sunday to be if you are alone in your apartment or in your home, or as my mother is in her facility, she can't come out of her room, and so it's a difficult time for those who are alone. And this made me start to think about that very first Easter morning, because of course I'll be using the Matthew version of this story, and it comes from Matthew 28, verses 1 through 10. And in this particular gospel story, Mary goes to the tomb by herself. And so I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about how she would go to the tomb on her own, and she probably was sad, maybe feeling very lonely, scared of what was going to happen next without Jesus. And it was still that time of day, in the early morning where it's not quite light, but it's not still really dark. And she goes there and she sees that the tomb is empty. And just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, she must have been thinking, they have taken him away. Now, we might think about who that they are, but I'm assuming that she's thinking it's the authorities. And she might have even been thinking, can't they leave him alone even in his death? Why would they have to take him from his actual tomb? What would be the purpose? And she begins to cry as she looks into the tomb, and the gospel tells us, she bends down and looks into the tomb, and she sees two angels there. And they say to her, why are you crying? And she says to them, he's gone. And up to this point, there's no happy Easter celebration. There's no chocolate bunnies, no celebration dinner. Mary is weeping for all she has lost. Even his body is gone. But then she turns to leave after this short confrontation with the angel. She turns to leave, and a man is there. Again, in that dim light of breaking day, she thinks to herself, it must be the gardener. He asks, why are you crying? And again she answers, because they have taken away his body. The man simply says to her, Mary. And suddenly, Easter happens. The celebration begins. It's in the calling of her name that she realizes who this man is. In the midst of sadness and personal chaos, Easter happens. How relevant is this story today? Death and dying all around us. Then we remember something beyond death, something right in front of us. Maybe it's our family members that we are able to be with. Maybe it's thoughts about when this is all done, what we're going to do. But something comes in front of us and calls us by name and puts us back into focus. A figure that understands our every emotion, our every joy, our every disappointment, because he experienced it too. And he says to her, go and tell. I'll meet up with you in Galilee later, and I'll be there in the future. This is the new experience of Jesus. This is the way things are going to be from now on. And so we think about this time where we're thinking about what will be our new way of being. How will we represent Jesus in the world in the future? How will our celebrating be recognized in the future? These are the things of Easter. And these are the things that we can be thinking about today as we give thanks for what we have, and we give thanks for our health and our families, and even if we can't be with them, we recognize we will be in the future. We'll see them in the future. I hope that you have a wonderful Easter day. I hope that you find ways to celebrate, even if you're on your own. Find some videos that cheer you up. Watch an old movie that always brought you joy. Find something that makes you think about the hope of Christ in the future, the hope that we are beyond this death, that we are beyond this chaos, that we are moving into a future of good things. Happy Easter, everyone. And until we meet again, you have not been to church, you are the church. And may you feel God's love to the left of you and the right of you, in front of you and behind you, above you and below you, within you and within everyone you meet, now and always. Amen.